Hello there. So this is before my first practical test. I'm 2 days away now, no lessons in between. I'll have to look out over the series, might have a look at some of the first few vids that started this series to see what sort of noobish things I was thinking back then. I think I've made a lot of improvements and become very familiar with the car. A lot of it takes experience, like just the more you do something, it becomes natural to you, almost automatic. So I guess it's like learning to balance when you're riding a bike, or a kid trying to walk for the first time. You can describe it up to a certain point, and then it gets harder to express and describe the things you've learnt as time goes on, because it's just like you're doing it on autopilot. It's kind of semi-obvious to you. So I've become a lot more familiar with the car. I like taking the nuggets of information Tony's learned, even though it's a form of control, let's be honest. It's a form of self-slavery to take people's orders for what you should do and then build them into yourself. It's my overall view of that from my political standpoint is that it's a bad thing. But for trying to get what I want and get set up and live in the system we have at the moment, it's a good thing, and it will give me, hopefully, more chances to get places. I don't think I'll pass on Monday. If I do, it'll be a miracle. I'm not saying that because I'm too far away from being able to do it. I mean, that last mock test I did, I thought was really good. It was just one dumb thing that I haven't got into my system yet, which is staying left lane on roundabouts. I've been banging on about that the whole end period of me learning to drive with these lesson debrief logs, so it's kind of no surprise that I screwed up there. I just have to try and force that habit out of myself. Remember that that's kind of like the number one thing that I could probably fail for. Also might fail on reverse bay park. I'm not 100% confident on that. Even the part where you try and fix it, you get 1 or 2 chances to fix it, but you get a minor for when you do that. So at least you don't get a serious if you fix it, I guess. I remember when I started with Sean and Tony, I struggled with junctions and I struggled with veering off with my steering while I was reaching for the gear stick. I think I've got a lot better handle on my steering now. I think I can control it a bit better when I'm reaching for things. I can do auxiliary controls. I can just about reach for my glasses, I should say sunglasses. It also takes finding a gap in the traffic or finding a bit of straight before you do something like that. Like not just thinking, I need to do this thing and then doing it immediately. Thinking, I need to do this thing, I'm going to wait until conditions are right and then I'm going to do it at the next possible moment. If I do pass, I'll be really surprised, I think, because I've never thought I was going to pass first time. I don't know what I'd do if I passed. I know that I'd have, if I did pass, I'd have 2 more already paid for lessons with Tony. I'm thinking that, I don't want to think about it, to be honest, but yeah, I'm thinking about like how I'd even get a car. And with my family situation, you can't really rely on them for travel, and you can't really rely on buses for travel to weird house locations like on Facebook Marketplace where someone's selling a car. So I might use Tony, like pay him for a lesson just to get me to a car that I can check out, sort of thing. And you've also got to pay. You also got to find out the number plate of that car before you see it, pay 1 day's insurance on it, unless you get it from a dealership, which I probably won't be, because they're all way too expensive there. And then you can test drive the car from that person's house, because they want to see you have insurance. So you just take out insurance on that car for a day or something. Road rage. I guess you take it out on the number plate. I don't know if you have to fill out owner details and stuff and all that, or what. Mention that it's not your car and you're just doing this so you can test drive it. So I need to look at insurance websites. I have no idea how they work. Complete newbie on that front. Don't have a clue. I know you've got to bring your driving license on test. That shouldn't be difficult. I've got into the habit of bringing it on every lesson I've done so far, as well as my phone, just in case you get pulled over for anything, or if there is a crash, you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. Luckily, nothing like that has happened. Obvious aims for what I want to get out of this if I pass my test is I have like 1 year, one clear year, maybe a tiny bit more with the funds I've got, which are low, for job hunting with the car. And hopefully the car would give me the availability that a lot of employers have asked for, so that I could work Sundays and evenings and very early morning starts, 7 a.m. morning starts, which you can't do on buses because they won't get you in for 7 a.m. to wherever you're going. So getting the car can get you anywhere at any time. That's the primary focus, because once you get a job, then you can pay for continuation of the car, and then hopefully I can recover all my funds lost from what happened in the family business towards the end. In between stuff, if I'm not like looking for a job that day, or if I'm not working that day, I can choose to pay fuel for the car and take the car out and do lots of different things that I wouldn't have been able to do just solely on the buses. The sort of things I relied on, like my dad to take me to places on Dartmoor so we could do walks, I could actually go out there hopefully on my own. As long as I didn't die getting there in a crash and didn't die getting back in a crash, I could get up onto Dartmoor and resume my walking. I could even do some Central Line, Eastern Line tours maybe. And another thing I want to do is kind of driving challenges, like challenge myself. Do I know how to do each thing that I've learnt with driving? Have like a test day or two for each thing. Like today I'm going to travel to this place where I know there are like 3 roundabouts in a row, and I'm just going to do those one direction and do them the other direction back. And then that's going to be my challenge, and let's see if I win the challenge. And then the next day I set myself a challenge. I'll be doing like, can I find a level crossing and stop at the level crossing and work out what kind of level crossing it is, because I don't think there are any. There's one in Exeter, I think, near the train station. It's more like an Eastern England thing, and the same for those horse crossings, for some fucking reason. I mean, we have a lot of horses around in Dartmoor and horse riders, but we have like 0 horse crossings. I've never seen one. So I think that's like an East England thing, like Kent or something, where those kinds of things are found, or maybe it's North England, I'm not sure. Speaking of North England, it would be cool if I get more familiar with driving. I don't think I'd be able to do it from when I start driving, but as I get more familiar with driving, I'd like to get up to the Lake District and go up the mountains there, using a car to get there. Not sure about Scotland, because that seems massive, but maybe Lake District or Wales or something. Although Wales has all the 20 miles an hour zones, so maybe not. Can't go to the cities I used to be familiar with because all this ULEZ, CLZ stuff, you have to pay a fine just for driving a normal car to those cities as of like a couple of years ago. That's some leftist policy making bullshit that's come in thanks to the WEF and lockdowns and the UN. So I can't go to Bristol very easily. I've worked out a way that I can get to the outskirts of Bristol without even going near the CLZs or anything. Just park up there and like walk in. But I can't actually get into Bristol. They've just screwed over the nation's population basically. They're saying, oh, you can't actually drive in these cities unless you pay a fine for existing, essentially. So that's kind of sad, because it'd be nice to just visit those cities, not actually. You wouldn't want to live in the city, that'd be hell. But to visit them would be nice. Just to have a quick walk around, remember old places I used to live and that sort of thing, because I enjoy that sort of city trip. Very brief visits to just to see what's going on as well, because crazy things happen in the city. It's sometimes just kind of a laugh to look at them. Protests or the insane things government are doing to the people there. It's nice to be able to brave it and get a glimpse for yourself, just to confirm to yourself that it's actually happening and that the person who you use as your news isn't joking you around or anything. Don't want to rely on mainstream media to tell you anything. Don't do that. Throw out your TV. Watch YouTube. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes on Monday. I fully expect that to just be like another mock test, and I'll get like a serious mark or a fail for it, so I'll have to book more lessons with Tony. Even though I'm up around that level, the worst thing would be booking a new test, because you don't get slots for like months sometimes. So it's like 2 months in advance there might be a slot, and that's horrible. It's just horrible waiting that amount of time. I hate waiting, and it costs money to wait as well because you're paying for lessons in the meantime, just while you're waiting for a slot. That's awful. So that would be the real downside of not passing first time, even though I know I'm not gonna. So I fully expect to do a bunch of mock test lessons for a month or two after I don't pass with Tony, and then try it again, and hopefully I'll be super familiar at that point and I can pass the second time just as essentially a normal driver who knows how to do everything. I'm sort of up near that level. There's just a few things to iron out, just a couple things like roundabouts, some dual carriageway things, and some weird manoeuvre things. But yeah, I'll see how it goes. You pay for it as a driving lesson as well as paying the DVLA for a test on that day, so it cost me, oh god, it probably cost me £140 each time I do it. So again, another big cost. There's huge costs around getting a car. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I will treat it as a driver's debrief lesson vlog, and I'll catch you after Monday. Thanks for watching.